Hi there. In this video I'm going to cover 3 life-saving techniques for closing holes in ZBrush. I will present these techniques thoroughly and clearly so even beginners would be able to follow along with me. But in the meantime I'm going to provide timestamps in the description so those who are familiar with ZBrush that may find some of the information trivial would be able to skip exactly to the points. But in the meantime, if there are some techniques that you think I should also consider along with those 3 important techniques, please let me know because I am also here to learn. So here it goes. Now you may be thinking, why do I need to learn about closing holes? I am very good with working with mud geometry and I don't leave holes behind. While you might be right, the issue with Dynamesh in ZBrush is that sometimes it gives you these deteriorating geometry spots and they are a nightmare to deal with. On the other hand, some of those issues get really escalated to the point where you get something like this eye socket that I have. And some of you might be thinking, well, I can go here to the geometry and I can go down into modify topology, and in modify topology I would scroll down into close holes, and you may be thinking if you click on close holes you would get this hole magically fixed, but as you can see it barely does anything. Okay, so let's cover the eye socket, areas like this and area like this. So for the eye socket, this is going to be somewhat a manual technique for closing holes. It's always good to learn manuals, just like cars, right? So if I go into the edges of this eye socket and click down Control and go into the mask pen. So now that I have masked the contour of this eye socket, invert that selection. So hold down Control and then tap, and now what I want to do is to go into the gizmo. So I'm gonna hit ERW, yeah. So that's for scale, rotation, and move. And to get it exactly to where I want it to be, you hold down with the Alt and you click anywhere. Now I'm going to unlock that gizmo, and I want to move that gizmo somewhere here. Now that I have modified where it should be, then I'm gonna click on Scale. But before I continue tightening it in, I want to make sure I don't have any unwanted geometry selected. Okay, that's good. Okay, you do it multiple times until you know it's really tight there. And now hold down Control and draw selection. That's going to clear the mask. Okay, so this is what the eye looks like. Now what do we do from there? Because I have the Dynamesh activated, when I hold down Control and swipe with the pen, since I no longer have any mask, this technique usually when you have a mask it would clear the mask, but when I do it one more time after I have just cleared the mask, now it's going to Dynamesh, as you probably know. Okay, here's my Dynameshed version. So what I can do now is BST, which is the standard brush. As you can see, it's responding as one mesh. I'm going to go to the stroke and turn down the lazy mouse. Now I'm gonna hold Shift just to smooth the geometry. Then if I hit spacebar, I can go to the scale and also to the focal shift. And from there, I can investigate. As you can see, these are areas that are just being stubborn. Click and hold Control, then hold also Shift, then move all the way here. And what I'm going to choose is the Select Lasso. Okay, now that I'm on the Select Lasso, I'm going to draw a selection like this. As you can see, I have selected this part here, so now it's pretty good that I can see it. Click and hold Control and Shift and Alt. That's going to negate that area there. One more time, click down Control and Shift. If I do that selection, it's only going to make it the main selection. But if you click and hold Control and Shift and Alt, that's going to open the Select Lasso, and also it's going to subtract the selection. That's why it is in red. By holding down Control and Shift and then swiping like this, I am inverting. So now I have hidden that part. Let me just clarify. When I have selected this area using Control and Shift, I have isolated this, and everything else on that geometry has become hidden. It's not deleted, it's only hidden. Now I can simply go Control and Shift and then click with the left mouse button and swipe like this, and now the selection is inverted. The area here is not gone, it's only hidden, just like this whole mesh was, right? Now what I need to do is to delete the hidden geometry. So you click on Modify Topology and then Delete Hidden. Now how do you know if you have actually deleted the hidden? So let me undo before the Delete Hidden. I'm gonna click and hold Control, Shift, and then tap. That is going to clear that selection, meaning it's gonna show everything. Okay, so I'm gonna undo, Control, Shift, and then swipe. Here's your reminder that this is the section that is now selected. Now Control, Shift, and swipe again. It's going to invert the selection, meaning that this patch here is now hidden. Now when I go on Delete Hidden, that area is now deleted. So if I click and hold Control and Shift and then swipe, nothing. Tap, nothing. That means this is the whole geometry. There's nothing hidden. Now I can go into Close Holes, and there you go. So let me try now with the BST, the standard brush. As you can see, it is getting a very different treatment. So I'm gonna hold Shift with the standard tool, and now it's smooth as butter. So those are two very useful techniques. Let me demonstrate the same technique here. So what I need to do is to just destroy the whole thing and reconstruct, meaning Control, Shift, then select this area here, the problematic area. See? Looking around, making sure nothing else is selected. Now Control, Shift, swipe with the left mouse button, inverting the selection. I am on the Modify Topology, I click on Delete Hidden. Then I click on Close Holes. There it is. Now BST, and then Shift. Look at that. And then with a gentle swipe here, just to give it some gentle inflation, and then Shift. There you go. Let me re-demonstrate. Control, Shift, select, Control, Shift, and then swipe, and then Delete Hidden. Then Close Holes. BST or any brush that you prefer. With the Shift, and then just a little bit of inflation there. Not as bad as the economy, just a very gentle inflation. Alright, so now you've learned two very useful techniques. The third one that I want to mention to you is the following. This is ideal for patching smaller holes like this one or that one. And the reason why it's good to know this one, even though the technique of selecting it and then deleting and then closing the holes might work, this one is a little bit better because it's good for like tiny splats of bad geometry. So it's good to know the three techniques, and hopefully these three techniques would always help you on fixing any bad geometry that you may be facing. So the technique is, you go to the BI, so brush inflation, I as in inflation, and then N, so inflation, IN, right? So BIN. When I go and inflate those surfaces from the inside of the rim of those spots, you get some inflation, which means it tightens the holes a little bit, which means you get it to the state where the Dynamesh can actually understand it. So if I hit with the Alt now, you can go back and forth if you want, just so it doesn't get extruded quite a bit. The main thing we're doing here is just to bring those vertices together. Now if I click and hold Control and then swipe with the left mouse button, That's going to Dynamesh, and the result is this. So BST, Shift, works like a charm. BIN, so left mouse button and then with Alt, left mouse button and then with Alt. As you can see, it messes it up, but that's why we have the Dynamesh. BST, Shift, there you go. Shift F to investigate the geometry. And now I'm gonna hit with a shift and just smooth the geometry out a little bit. The other thing you can do is redynamesh again. There you go. By redynameshing again, the same spots gets a second pass of treatment. Let me try the same technique in here. BIN. Yeah, if the spot is really bad, you make stronger inflation, then shrinkflation with Alt. Click, hold, Control, and then swipe with the left mouse button. Let's see what we get. Okay, now BST, and then Shift. If I torture these areas, I would know like how bad they are. And as you can imagine, if I were to go with a Control Shift, then Control Shift, and then swipe, and then delete hidden, then close holds, BST, Shift. There you go. You don't have to deal with any stubborn spots. Alright, so with that video I have covered 3 very useful techniques for closing holes. I hope you find this helpful, and that's it for today.